Monday, January 1, 2024. A kingdom of priests and a holy nation. Exodus 19, verse 1-6. Key verse 5 and 6a. Now, if you obey me fully and keep my covenant, then out of all nations you will be my treasured possession. Although the whole earth is mine, you will be for me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. At Mount Sinai, chapter 19, verse 1-6. On the first day of the third month after the Israelites left Egypt, on that very day they came to the desert of Sinai. After they set out from Rephidim, they entered the desert of Sinai, and Israel camped there in the desert in front of the mountain. Then Moses went up to God, and the Lord called to him from the mountain and said, "This is what you are to say to the descendants of Jacob, and what you are to tell the people of Israel. You yourselves have seen what I did to Egypt, and how I carried you on eagle's wings and brought you to myself. Now, if you obey me fully and keep my covenant, then out of all nations you will be my treasured possession. Although the whole earth is mine, you will be for me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation." These are the words you are to speak to the Israelites. Daily bread. First, God's treasured possession. God shared this important message with Moses, telling the Israelites that they will become God's treasured possession when they obeyed him. The greatest way to show our love for God is not through works. It's through obedience to his will. Obedience is a clear window into our hearts. If we obey our friends, it's reflected in our choices. If we obey our desires, it's reflected in our behavior. When we obey God, it shows we love and trust him the most. If there was a window into your heart, what or who would be there? We meet plenty of people who obey themselves, their friends, or even their parents. But meeting someone who fully obeys God is so rare. Their devotion to the Lord is truly like treasure shining in a dark generation. We have a choice. We can live like the rest of the world, or we can be God's treasured possession through our obedience. Second, a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. God gave this amazing promise to turn the Israelites into a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. They started out as slaves in Egypt, but God promised they would priest a very important role. Priests in those days were like the middlemen who helped people connect with God. That's exactly what we're called to do today. We're like little priests, carrying out God's message and helping students to know him. We also started out as slaves to our desires, selfish ambition, and worldly influence. But God freed us through our Lord Jesus, and now he is using us to carry out the gospel. What a blessing that God transformed us in that way. But we don't want that transformation to stop with us. We want our whole country to become a holy nation filled with genuine and dedicated followers of Jesus. Prayer. Lord, help me to see myself through your eyes. I've been saved and be called to be a messenger of the gospel. Now that I know who Jesus is, I want to share who He is with others, so our country can become a nation dedicated to You. One word: have vision to be a kingdom of priests and a holy nation.